Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Virtualization Adda. Today in this video, we will be discussing about the Usage Meter 4.6, which is the latest release from VMware. So let's quickly take a look on the release notes that VMware has published. Uh, yeah, uh, let's first talk about the collectors. VMware has done a good job in supporting three new collectors. One is the Tanzu Kubernetes, which is the multi-grid, multi-cloud, and other one is for the vRealize Lifecycle Manager and vRealize Automation 8.x. So basically, VMware supports from 4.6 three more collectors, which we can call it three more new products that VMware can support from 4.6. Apart from this, it even supports the more of certificate management. You can have your certificates managed through command line from 4.6, and offline mode has got its own enhancements. And of course, yeah, moving on to the configuration max, maybe you can refer to the page that VMware publishes it. And keeping that aside, these are the browsers that are supported. Is the typical browsers that we have it, Mozilla, Chrome, and Edge. And you have these environments supported, which are running on Windows 11, Mac OS 12.4, CentOS 7 and 8. Of course, these are the other things. There's typical things that you have it, and of course, VMware supports upgrade from 4.x to 4.6. So, on a specific, it supports from 4.3. You can, if you're running your UsageMeter on 4.3, you can definitely upgrade it to 4.7, 4.6. So there is a procedure to do an upgrade of it. I'm not covering in this video, but yeah, eventually I'll be doing it other video. So in this video, we'll discuss more of what's new in 4.6 and what are the new collectors. How do we add the things up in this video? And yeah, these are a few resolved issues where VMware has done a good job in terms of reporting. And of course, these three, if you see, this the other thing is the upgrade part, which you see that stops metering the SRM once you do an upgrade. So even that is the no resolved issue. Yeah, there are a few known issues. What I would do is I'll share this link in the video, so you can definitely take a look at it whenever you need it. With that saying, we'll quickly move on to usage meter, which I've already deployed in up and running, and it has no products added to it. So this is my usage meter 4.6, and if you would have seen UM 4.5, the usage meter 4.5 UI, and UM 4.6 has got a better UI visibility where they came up with in some sessions here. You see, like you're gonna have what are the cloud. Okay, cloud falls and what and all falls under cloud. It's a vCenter server and Tanzu Kubernetes grid, which is a new collector, and vCloud director. That's the one. What are the managements we have? We have vRealize Lifecycle Manager, vRealize Operations, VRA 7, and VRA 8. And we'll move networking. Yeah, they actually had a sessions and made it pretty clear, so you can definitely use it in a better way. And you have the networking, we're in a 60 and a 60, and vRealize networking side falls under networking session, and you have the virtual desktop, the typical known DAS and the horizon. And yeah, of course, the migration, the recovery, vCloud director availability. This looks good, yeah. And we'll quickly see how we can add vRealize Lifecycle Manager here. And it's pretty straightforward. You click on the tab on your left side, the vRealize Lifecycle Manager, and click on the Add button. And here you see it is asking you to provide the endpoint, the username, and the password. Of course, if you have installed your vRealize Lifecycle Manager other than 4.4.3, you're supposed to change the port. Let me enter the vRealize Lifecycle Manager IP here. I've entered my usage vRealize Lifecycle Manager IP and the credentials for it, and I'll quickly click on the next button here. In the next screen, it shows you the certificate that is being issued and the period of validity and the fingerprint and all. And let's accept and move on to next. So once you click on next, it does a credential testing, and if it's successful, it will move and say, hey, what are the products that have been detected, and will get the certificates. This certificate it gets from the vRealize Lifecycle Manager. So whenever you install a product in Lifecycle Manager, you're gonna install a certificate, have certificate part of it, and this keeps varying. If you would have imported the product, like the product that has been supported by LCM or nothing but VRNI, vRealize Network Insight, vRealize Operations Manager, vRealize Automation. So if you would have imported them by installing somewhere else, and which you can do it, at that time you will not find a certificate for this. And we'll click on next. It has to display what are the products that it has. And my LCM, it has only one product that's called vRealize Automation, and I have named it as vRealize Automation One. That's a name that I provided as an environment while installing LCM. And here the point to be noted is when you install the LCM, you should install VIDM for your authentication to work for the product. So definitely that is a basic thing. We are not going to meter for that. So you might be surprised seeing that why my VIDM is not being detected here, but we're not going to meter for that. It's only the products other than VIDM because that's the basic authentication that we need. And since my LCM is having the certificate of VRA that I've installed, if you see, it doesn't talk anything about the certificate acceptance or anything, because it knows what is the certificate of my VRA and it can start communicating. But just that it says that, hey, I wanted a credentials. So let's take a look at this text, what it's trying to tell here. The VRA Lifecycle Manager will be registered. To finish the registration of the auto discovery products, all that is left is to provide the user credential for one product deployment. That's all. So it clearly says that, hey, you're gonna provide me credentials so I can start metering. So next, what it says here, the product deployment VLCM will have only the certificates auto accepted. Perfect. Products imported into will not require you to, will require you to. So basically, as I told you, if you import the product, that certificate wouldn't be available in the lifecycle manager. So you have to accept. But in this scenario, I've installed in the LCM, the certificate is available. We'll not get an option to accept the certificate. Now we'll click on the submit here. Yeah, so once you click on submit, this is the page, how it looks like. It's gonna say that you have one product required attention. So basically, there are multiple ways you can click on this arrow here, or let's say if you know which product it is, example, it is vRealize Automation 8, you can click on here and see it. Let me just add it now from this particular button that you have it here. So basically, once you click this is how it looks like. Hey, it says this is the product you had, which needs an attention. As discussed earlier, that since my VRA is not imported, it has been installed in LCM, it will not ask you to accept the certificate. It will just ask you to enter the credentials. So you can just click on enter credentials and you can do this. So here we are supposed to enter the credentials of my VIDM, which is admin. One with the user which I used for the installation and the credentials for that. And click on the save button. So once the vRealize automation successfully gets added, we can click on the left side vRealize automation 8, and you can come here and see what is the status of it. It turns into OK state, and here you can see multiple details. One is the endpoint on the first tab that you see here. That is nothing but the IP of your vRealize automation, and it also tells you the related products. Related products are nothing but what is the VRS LCM IP it has and the port it is. And it also talks about the version of the VRA. Moving to other collector, the Tanzu Kubernetes Grid Multi-Cloud, which is supported in from 4.6 specifically. So let us say the process to add this is it's also typically straightforward. You click on add button, and here if you should add before even moving on adding to this, you should be adding a VC here where example you're going to add a VC with 1.1.1, and once you click on the add in the TKG, it has to list here. Once you select that and give the IP of your management cluster to example, let's take an example 2.2.2. And once you create the cluster, you're going to generate that user token for that. There is a procedure that is being mentioned by VMware. So you can definitely refer to the release document. How can you generate a bearer token? Once you generate the token, like some token you're gonna get it from using some typical Kubernetes commands. You can get that and paste it here, and you can always select the edition that you wanted to meter. For now, let's not throw it error here. You can basic, standard, or advanced you want it, and the metrics whether you want VRAM or CPU cores and all. You can select accordingly and click on add, and it gets added. So these are the two new products that you see, a typical workflow changes that you have. But apart from that, the rest all product editions are same. Like you're gonna have vCenter server. It's a typical UI. You're gonna provide the VCIP credentials. Of course, if it's external, select this and provide an IP of your external PSC, and what kind of VCF version you want to select this. And of course, you have if do you really want us to detect the SRM metered VMs or not? If you want to detect, make this checkbox on. Otherwise, let's make it off. And then next, moving on to like TKG. Yes, this is a great services where you can select the what TKG edition you wanted, and of course the meter based on VRAM or CPU cores. Yeah, rest all it's all the same that you have it from 4.5. It's a typical procedure of how you add the details. See, all the details are the same. Okay. With that saying, I would have this particular page, the VMware release notes in my video, so you can refer to the link. I'll share it with you guys. So that's all for this video.